Hello there everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Elliot Webber, and for the first time on this channel this year, we can finally say it is race week. Yeah, that is right. The British Touring Car Championship kicks off this weekend at Donington Park, and I am so excited. It's the first time in about 2 or 3 years I've actually been this excited for a BTCC championship season to kick off. But obviously we still have a couple of preview videos to make this week. Obviously this one and then the last one coming hopefully a couple of days after this, and then hopefully if there's time, one more video as well. So yeah, and in this preview video we are going to be talking about Unlimited Motorsport. So as always, let's get straight into this. Now, it is expansion and change at Unlimited Motorsport this year, obviously keeping the Cupra Leon once again for the 2025 BTCC season is Unlimited Motorsport as they head into their official sophomore season. But they have not just got one car this year, they've not just got two cars this year, they have got three cars. Yeah, that is right. Unlimited Motorsport will have three cars for the 2025 British Touring Car Championship season with a brand new, fresh lineup. First off is the rookie Max Hall, making his BTCC debut at just 17 years of age in what is probably the best livery on the grid. I'll put some pictures up now. The car looks stunning. It looks beautiful. It is utterly a glorious looking car, might I say. Yeah, obviously very much taking inspiration from his Mini Challenge livery from 2024, and yeah, as mentioned, it is likely, probably, in my personal opinion, the best livery on the grid, though there is some competition out there. And yeah, next up is two returnees to the championship. Obviously, we have seen a lot of returning drivers this year in 2025, but Unlimited Motorsport have two of those returnees, and one of those returnees is Dexter Patterson. Yep, Dexter Patterson has also returned to the British Touring Car Championship in 2025 after taking a year out to race in the European GT4 Championship. He will be running a Rocket livery, as Rocket are one of Unlimited Motorsport's new title sponsors for this year, and personally it looks okay. It looks semi-decent. Obviously I wanted, yeah, obviously I think it's great. I always love a matte black livery. I'm a bit of a sucker for that. So yeah, great to see Rocket back in the championship as well. Hopefully they actually pay the team, unlike when they didn't pay Williams F1. So hopefully it is a little bit less dodgy this year for Unlimited Motorsport. But yeah, anyway, great to see Dexter Patterson back. I do feel like that he's got a lot more to give in the championship. And yeah, I do think it's going to be a solid season for him. We'll get into him in a minute. And then sort of the big news from Unlimited Motorsport this year is that they have brought back Nicolas Hamilton. Yep, that is right. The younger brother of 7-time world champion Lewis is back in the BTCC this year. And honestly, it is great to see. I know Nicolas Hamilton, he has many fans, but he also has many critics on social media. Personally, for me, it's great to see him back. I am surprisingly, no, maybe not surprisingly, but I am a big fan of Nick Hamilton. I've met him a couple of times over the years, and he has been always lovely to me. So yeah, very great to see him back, and hopefully as well he will have a solid season as well. But we're going to talk about the first driver who I named in this video, and that is Max Hall, the rookie. Max Hall is someone who will have a huge unknown about him. You know, he's only been on the Toka package for a couple of years. He raced in Ginetta Juniors a few years ago and then moved up to the Mini Challenge in 2024, where he had a very impressive rookie season, finishing second in the championship, only to Dan Zelos, who obviously cakewalked the championship in 2024. But that doesn't mean to say that Maxwell wasn't a bad title contender, because he was a championship contender in the early stages of the season, obviously. But yeah, then obviously Zelos was consistent and he kept winning. So yeah, so Max Hall, very much he deserves to be in the championship. He is also, as mentioned, one of the youngest drivers to ever compete in BTCC, debuting at just 17 years of age. He is 3 years younger than me. Yeah, that makes me feel very old. But yeah, very good to see Max Hall make his debut. Personally, for me, there has been a lot of hype around Max Hall. Obviously, he did actually top one of the pre-season tests at Croft. and a lot of people were putting some hype around him and putting some hype around Unlimited Motorsport. But I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but it was revealed it was a qualifying run for Max Hall when he set that lap time, which should hopefully give him some hope for qualifying this year. No doubt, I think Max Hall will be naturally quick. He showed very, very, very good pace in the Mini Challenge, but do I think that he's going to be a front runner straight away? I don't think so, unfortunately. I do think that Cupra still has its limits. It's not the best car on the grid, obviously. But I do think it will be a solid season for Unlimited overall. As for Max Hall, I think he might be a contender for the Jack Sears Trophy this year. He might possibly be a contender for the Independence Championship. Personally, I don't see Max Hall winning that, but possibly he could be up there with Daryl DeLeon and Charles Rainford and maybe James Dorlin as contenders for the Jack Sears Trophy. I definitely can see him getting multiple points finishes this year, because I do think that Cupra does have some decent pace. Look at what Daryl DeLeon did with it at the back end of last year, getting multiple top 10s. So I do think if Max Hall, if he can get into the top 10 a couple of times this year, hell, if he can even get a reverse grid result, possibly a podium, that I think Max Hall's racecraft exceeds his age. But by a long shot, I do think that he's definitely a very mature driver for his age, and yeah, I do think that Max Hall will be setting some fireworks at some point in 2025. Though, do I see him winning races? Unfortunately, no. I don't think Max Hall will be setting the world alight that much. But yeah, I definitely can see Max Hall getting some top 10s at best this year. And if he can be third in the Jack Sears Trophy, that'd be a solid season for him. So yeah, now moving on to Dexter Patterson. Now Dexter Patterson, again, he's going to be a huge unknown this year because of course he's had a year out. We don't know if he's gotten better or if he's gotten worse. I do think he's gotten better because Dexter Patterson is also quite young. He's only about 21, 22 years old. So he is still quite young for touring cars. However, last time he was in BTCC, he did drive a Cupra Leon when he was driving for the then Team Hard. Obviously, they are now known as Unlimited Motorsport. So for Dexter, I think, 2023 was his best season out of the 2 years that he did previously. So I do think that there will be natural progression. I do see Dexter Patterson improving on some of his results this year. His best career finish is P6, for those of you who do not know. Whether or not he can top that in 2025, it's going to be difficult, but who knows? We could have a crazy wet race again, or if that qualifying lap was the true pace of the Cupra, then who knows? We could even be seeing some Cupras in the quick 6 in qualifying this year. Dexter Patterson is someone who does look like he's naturally quick. He has been very quick in pretty much anything he's driven. He was very quick in his single-seater appearances a couple of years ago, and from what I've heard, he was very quick in the GT4 European Championship. I didn't watch that series last year, so I don't know for sure. But yeah, I do think Dexter, I think he will be a solid team leader, almost essentially, given how I do think he will be the best driver of the three over the course of the season. I do think he will be the most consistent. I do think Dexter will be in the points multiple times this year, similar to Max Hall. I do see him getting some top 10s at some point this year. And again, if that pace is legitimate from Cupra and from Unlimited this year, then I would not write off seeing Dexter Patterson on the podium at some point this year. But again, we will just have to wait and see. Now, moving on to Nicolas Hamilton. This will either annoy some fans or make some fans happy. Obviously, we know Nicolas Hamilton's story. We do know that he is quite limited when it comes to his driving abilities, but he is a good driver. I'm going to keep saying this. I will die on this hill. Nicolas Hamilton is a good driver, and he does deserve to be on the BTCC grid. Just look at his performance last time he was in the BTCC, where he finished P6 at Donington Park. And I know some people will say, Elliot, it was a wet race. He put on the right tyres at the right time. Yes, he did. Circumstances, but he took advantage of that circumstance. It was his decision to put on the wet tyres at the right time. And he was getting his elbows out. When they showed him, he was fighting with Mikey Doble. He was fighting in the midfield. And at some point, he was actually a net P3. So who knows? Had the race had been a little bit shorter, there could have been legit talk of Hamilton getting a podium that day. Obviously, I don't think that's going to happen this year, unless, of course, you know, he plays the strategy again and there is a wet race and he does take advantage of that again. I do see Nicolas scoring some points this year. I do think, you know, Nicolas is someone who, you know, he does stay out of trouble a bit. I know he does get caught up in some instances sometimes, but more often than not, he stays out of trouble and he just, you know, takes off the points of other drivers who have made mistakes and have crashed out. Nicolas has done that a couple of times before. He actually did that at Donington Park. So, yeah, I think there is no doubt that Nicolas will be back up there. And look at his testing times. He seems quicker than ever this year. I've also seen him as well in interviews. He looks more physically fitter than he ever was. And, you know, so I definitely see big things coming for Nick. Again, do I think he will be getting a podium at some point this year? Unfortunately not, but I do think if he can just keep working on his craft and keep performing, then there will definitely be some points on offer for Nicolas Hamilton at some point this year. Again, I'm going to keep saying this, Nicolas deserves to be here, and I really do hope that he can show that again in 2025. Now, overall, for Unlimited as a team, again, I think it all depends on how they develop that car. If the car is better, it certainly looks it, looking at the pre-season testing times. But again, we will find out this Saturday and this Sunday. But yeah, overall for Unlimited Motorsport, do I think they'll be winning races and getting podiums this year? Unfortunately not. But I do think we will see Unlimited in the top 10 in the points more regularly than they were last year. And who knows, hopefully with a new 3-car lineup, they can improve and improve ahead of 2026. But that is my thoughts, ladies and gentlemen. But please let me know your thoughts in the comments below, guys. What are your predictions for the rookie Max Hall and the returnees, Dexter Patterson and Nicolas Hamilton? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, guys. Of course, if you are new around here, be sure to like this video, share with your mates as well, because of course does help my channel grow. And of course, press that subscribe button because we are firmly on the road to 400 subscribers. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see all of you in the next one. Goodbye.